today.
We're in sync.
We're totally synced.
And this is episode 6. Do you want to tell the rest of the crowd what you guys are talking about?
Me and Amanda are synced up with our
Synced
times
up.
of the month.
Gang, gang.
It's because we were with each other recently, I think.
Is that a thing? I feel like you guys.
Yeah.
No. I know it's a thing, but I feel like that's not long enough to be synced up.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know if there's like an exact number.
Actually, I was having a conversation with a couple of my buddies.
About periods?
No, about syncing up, but like being synced up, like if we simultaneously nutted at the same time, ever.
Wait, what is that? You got that from the basement yard because the basement yard talked about that. I feel like.
So I was curious. I asked my friends. I think we have. We probably.
I'm sure, like with the amount of times you guys have finished, like let's be real.
Yeah.
Like by yourselves and with other people, I feel like at one point you were synced up. Have to
have been. Like it's a thing. I'm convinced. At least a couple of my buddies, because I know a lot of them fucking jerk off a lot.
Oh, that's a really good fun fact to know about your buddies. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
She goes, okay.
I feel like like they do it like once a day at least. Like that's crazy.
I actually, that's crazy to you?
I don't know. At my age, yeah. Like do something else, bro. Go for a bike ride.
You don't do it once a day?
Not all the time, no. Not all the time.
Oh.
I don't know. Is that like bad?
I mean, it's not bad. I just am surprised.
It's actually not good for you. Well, it's not good to watch porn.
Actually, I do.
What? Watch porn?
No. I mean, yeah, but like do it daily.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
So yeah, going back to first of all, how have you guys been? How's your week? How's everybody's mental health? How's everybody doing?
I'm good. You know, just working.
Working?
Back to my daily job after the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah. We were supposed to record Sunday. I'll take accountability and I'll say that that's on me.
Phil woke up at 5 p.m.
Okay, I didn't wake up at 5 p.m.
Pretty close.
No,
Pretty close
I woke up.
It was like 3.
No, I woke up at 11. I did a couple things, took Kira out, obviously, fed her and did my thing, and then I passed the fuck back out. I went out on Saturday with a couple of my friends for a birthday party, 30th birthday. Twins.
Wait a minute, you have other friends?
Twinsies.
Yeah, so it was the death to
Scorpio
the
sister.
20s or whatever. Just
Round 2.
Just like yours. Yeah, it was a good time. I had a dude come up to me and he was like all amped. He's like, dude, you have to have gotten this before. I'm like, what, man? Like, what's up? He's like, dude, you look like Ronnie from Jersey Shore.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I've gotten it before.
No.
When I'm clean shaven back in the day. Ronnie, hello? Were you paying attention?
No, I mean, who has said this to you? They had to be drinking because
a few people have told me.
I do not see it at all.
Did they have glasses? What
is this? Guess who? Do they have glasses? Is it a guy or a girl? Are they wearing a red shirt?
I'm actually concerned for them. I think they should go see a doctor because you look nothing like Ronnie.
No, nothing.
I don't know. It is what it is. But he was drunk as well, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
But yeah, he followed me on Instagram and everything. It was weird.
Oh my god.
Did he have a man crush on you?
Probably.
So you never met this man before?
No. He literally just came up to me at the bar.
Did he take a selfie with you?
Yeah.
Really?
Dude, I'm telling you, him and his girlfriend.
They're like, yo, it's Ronnie from Jersey Shore.
Well, they knew. They're like, dude, doesn't he look so much like him? He's like, please, let me take a photo. I'm like, okay, that's fine, bro.
That is crazy. I do not
see that at all.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I've gotten it before, but I don't really see it, but I've gotten it before.
You know who you do look like is the one that you said in the group chat the other day.
I always forget his name. Zach and Zach Efron's buddy. I don't know his name.
Yeah, but he's also like he's the nanny in Modern Family. He's like he's in Pitch Perfect. It's that. Yeah, you do look like him without a beard.
Yeah.
or with
That I do see a lot. It's like the almond eyes and like the facial
Yeah.
structure and all that.
I feel like it's like it's the shape of your face also.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are good. Everybody's good.
Yeah.
So
Did you guys do your homework that I asked?
we did. Do you want to touch on
Yep.
that first, or do you want to touch on the last episode where we ended off
We can
on?
yeah. We can follow up with the last episode then. Yeah.
So yeah,
let's
we
do that.
were hovering around the hour mark, and then we started talking about what was it again?
Well, you had
The
asked me,
timelines and shit.
yeah, you had asked me like what I had like planned for my 30s because I just turned
Yes.
30.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really like to make goals and that sort of thing because I feel like if I have a set timeline, it like throws me off and I get discouraged about like doing things. So I just take life as it comes.
Yeah.
But then we started talking about how some people like in relationships and finding a partner will have that timeline because they need the timeline because they want to have kids.
Yeah. I mean, I get it from a female's perspective because obviously the timeline with having kids, like as you get older, it's more it's harder, more difficult to get pregnant at that as you get older. And like I find I do find even like around like 27, 28, I feel like there's a little bit of pressure to get engaged and all that. And then it just it makes me think like you're rushing everything, like just let it unfold naturally. And then like I feel like everybody at that point, I feel a lot of people settle just because of like the extra pressure as a guy, blah blah blah. And then you see after the engagement or whatever, like the guy ends up fucking being a dumb dick and then break up or marriage.
Or the girl.
Yeah, or the girl, yeah.
Yeah. But I think there are, I mean, you guys saw how many weddings I went to in the past 3 years. Like it's been
It's nuts.
insane.
Yeah.
Like actually insane. But I think like a lot of them I think they were together for a long time before they got married. And I think that makes a difference. But I feel like, yeah, once you start getting to that age, you do see the occasional like, oh, that was quick, or like, like, but it's a lot of the time because these like I've had friends who have been like, well, I need to get this by this age and this by this age, and it's like, are you really having that with the best person possible, or are you just following your timeline?
Yeah.
But Amanda, I feel like you should touch on this because you've said that you've always kind of gone fast in your relationships.
Yeah, I have, but I feel like, I mean, I get where people settle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like late 20s, kind of, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, I need to get married. And so a guy comes along, it's good for 6 months, you get married, and then it just goes to shit after a year or two. You know what I mean? Because you don't know them as well as you think, or stuff like that. You just wanted to be married and live that life, which I don't know. I think it's happening more now with the social media and stuff. Is like, everyone sees this perfect life, whatever they want, all their goals and stuff like that. So like they think, oh, I need to have this, and they just rush, and it does not end well.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think
I like I've lost a few friendships over like me not liking the significant other that I feel like they're settling and they just don't see it, and I've like gone to bat like time and time again, and I just like sometimes I just can't support it. Like I will always support my friend no matter what, but I have lost, like we've grown apart to an extent in certain situations just because I've seen it, and they're like, well, like I want to have, or like they get pregnant, or like you know what I mean, like it's just like not planned, or they just like want kids, so it's like rushed. But I'm like,
I will say too is I have seen women rush into marriage and get pregnant, and that's just what they want, right? They want to be a wife and they want to be a mom, and then it turns out like their husband's not so great or whatever, but they are completely happy and content with being a mom. They put all their lives
100%.
into their children, and even though their marriage is horrible or they're unhappy, they're happy with being a mom and doing that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like I've even seen that. And obviously your kids are only under your roof for so long and stuff like that.
Right.
When they go, you have your marriage, or I don't know. I just think it's a bad.
Well, do you think so?
choice.
Here's a question. In that situation, say things were a little rushed and you jumped into a marriage and you have a kid or kids, and then you realize like, oh, this guy is not for me, or whatever the case may be, do you think it's better to stick it out until the kids, like try and keep the family together? Like, because I know a lot of people that are in a situation where they're like, oh, I don't know, like I know he or she treats me bad, but like we have the kids, so we're trying to stay together for the kids. Do you think that's a better idea or a worse idea for the
My
kids?
I would say if your partner treats you bad, right? Like any abuse, mental, physical, or just, bad, then no, I would say it's better to leave. But if you
Mhm.
and your partner are just basically married, but like living your own lives and the mom's focused on the kids and stuff, me personally, like I would stay. Just,
Mhm.
I would put my own happiness aside just for my kids, as long as it's not me getting treated badly. You know what I mean? But if
Yeah.
it's like the husband's just doing his own thing, I'm doing my own thing, taking care of the kids, I would stay. But that's just me.
Forever or until the kids are
Yeah,
adult
until the
enough.
kids are like 18
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean, that. But
Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, like
Some
if you're
mother's
not
sacrifice because I'm
yeah.
too selfish for that shit.
No, but like if you're not happy within the relationship, like
Yeah.
well,
why
so
be in it,
here's
right?
here's my take on it is, if like when you're a mom, right? It's like, is it easier to be a married mom, as you're not getting treated bad and you're not necessarily happy in the relationship, but you're not unhappy in life. You know what I mean? Like you have a happy
Mhm.
life with your kids and your whatever else is going on. To me, I don't know. I feel like that is a sacrifice. And then when the kids are older, then you can divorce or date or live your own life, But if you feel like you're missing that, like obviously then
Yeah.
divorce and go do whatever you want to do. But
And have
I
healthy
don't know.
co-parenting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have healthy co-parenting. That's key, and like that's the thing. Like if it's miserable, like within the relationship, like that'll like your kids will pick up on it once they get to that proper like once they get to an age where they can pick up on it. So it's like, what's the purpose of sticking around if you two aren't happy? Like you might as well end things and then co-parent
So
properly, and then you can still like raise the children properly, and they won't be fucking absolutely traumatized to go into a dating scene. Like
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I'm not saying like if they're around screaming and arguments and stuff like that, but
yeah,
But
toxic.
even like intimacy though. Like say they
okay,
grow up and you
so
guys are just like there and you're not like, you never say I love you to your significant other, you
Mom and
never
dad
like
aren't
kiss in
sleeping in the
front of them.
bed.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not
No,
I
sleeping
mean,
in the
yeah.
same
I
bed.
so
mean,
my
yeah.
my parents don't sleep in the same room. They never have, but they
See,
are fully happily married.
that's so weird to me.
What?
They've been happily married for 40 years
That's
and they don't
so
sleep in the same
weird to
room.
me. I need to
Honestly,
sleep.
I feel like in some cases it works. Like it helps. You have your own little like
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just for me, from my own personal standpoint, like if I'm married to someone or if I'm like living with someone, like cohabitating, like dating, whatever, like what are we doing? Why are we not in the same bed? Like I'm trying to
Yeah.
cuddle.
Well,
Well, I mean,
they
if it
both
works for
snore.
them though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
guess
I
like
will
when it comes to
say,
that,
so I will say, like I was with my late husband for 12 years. We were married for a very long time. I think like 8 years or something like that. And after my son was born, our second child, like I devoted so much time into the kids to where we had probably like a rocky first year. Like just because
Mhm.
I had a toddler, my late husband, he was working like 60 hours a week,
Mhm.
it's a big
and so
transition for both of you.
Oh,
yeah, and
100%.
so
Yeah.
I was totally just focused on me and the kids and just doing that kind of thing. That whole first year, like it was rough for our marriage. Like, and he would say like, "Oh, you don't give me enough attention, and you're never here, or when you are here, I'm tired." Like, and I just completely kind of put my marriage on the back burner, right? Like I was just only about the kids, and I was like,
Yeah,
"I'm happy. This is my life."
Mhm.
And then it came to a point where like we really had a serious conversation and we are like, look, we need to work on this, because he wasn't happy. I was happy, but not so much, you know what I mean, with how the
Yeah.
relationship was. But and we worked on it, and then it got better. But I think that too, like, if you're married and you
I feel
want to
like
work
also
on
like
it.
Are you gonna speak?
She was frozen.
No, that's why I stopped talking, because I saw it was frozen. Um, I said I feel like also, like, as a mother or as new parents, like when you have like a newborn or you have a kid with another small child, you're like almost in survival mode that first like year
Yeah.
or two of their lives. Like my friend just went through it. She's like the first 6 months of like, and he was a colicky baby. Like she's like, we like had a really hard time, and like we barely even like spoke to each other. We were both just like surviving day to day. Like that's
Yeah.
what it was. And she was just being a mom and he was just being a dad, and that's what it was. So I feel like having, and a lot of couples will have babies to try and fix
That's insane
things,
to
Which
me.
is a
which is
horrible,
wild to
horrible
I
me.
would
mistake.
never. I
Yeah.
will never.
That is insane to me.
But
Yeah.
it's true though. Yeah, that's
I
true.
know. They're like,
Crazy.
oh, like I don't know, like things aren't working out, like we're fighting a
Let's
lot. Let's
fucking have
get
a kid.
pregnant. What?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like,
That
are
thought,
you
that like
well?
that mentality to me is just baffling, and like it happens a lot.
A lot though, like more than
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
think.
Or like where the women will try to get pregnant to keep the man. They
Right.
think,
Trapping.
you know what I mean, or stuff like that is
Which is,
crazy.
that's crazy manipulative. That's
That's got to
literally
be like
wild.
that's got to be a crime. Like they
That's
got
gotta
to
be
you got to do
some
something
sort of
about
illegal.
that, bro. Like,
Entrapment.
yeah.
Yeah, no, like that's literally, I feel, not legal, but whatever. It happens like a lot, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
my
you
God,
can't
I
really
can't.
prove that though. Like, you know what I mean? Like the
It's
man
crazy.
can't. How's the
No.
man gonna prove that? Like she trapped me.
I don't know.
How do you prove that? You know what I mean? So I don't think
I
it's
don't
a
know.
thing, but it should be. It should 100% be a
Yeah.
thing.
100%. I just like having a kid is such a big thing. And like I said, I feel like I'm too selfish for it. I'll be the cool auntie always, but mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I can't. That's why like for me like now, and I think that's why I've been single for so long and like going on these dates and whatnot and seeing these women and like it's not that I have like a picture of my wife, like what I want, but like I have things that I do want in a marriage and in my partner, and like that's why I'll end things fairly quickly if I notice things are not like what I want.
Yeah,
Well,
but you're at the
so-
age where you can do that though.
Yeah,
'cause
and like
you've
I
done-
won't settle.
like,
I
you've
can't
grown
settle.
up.
Yeah, I'm not
no.
settling, and like I'm also comfortable being single right now. Like I'm
Yeah.
chilling. Like I have
Well,
no
so
fucking
do you-
headaches.
I'm chilling.
So I feel like it's a lot of the time the women that kind of settle for marriage or a proposal and kind of that aspect. Phil, do you think it's the same for men, or what do you think men kind of like they're settling for?
I
like, as
think
they age.
in terms of settling, I think the men point of view is like it's that pressure that we have from my family, my significant other's family, my fucking partner. Like, when are we gonna get engaged? When are we gonna get engaged? Like, it's like
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
thing. Like just let it unfold naturally,
Yeah.
because then it like
Like, I
makes
feel
you
like-
makes you overthink. It's like, do I want to
Yeah.
get married to this person? Like, and it's bad. Like, I don't like it. I never wanted it, and I've always, with both of my like long term partners, I've like our families would pressure us, and then I told them, I'm like, listen, the moment that you start pressuring me, no, it won't end well. I'm telling you that right now.
So
I'm
listen,
the opposite. When someone tells me to do something, I do the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the
So-
worst. I'm the worst person. So like if someone's pressuring me to do something, I'm gonna procrastinate it. Like, I'm not gonna do it.
so Jason, when him and I were dating, I think we were together like 6 months or something, and his mom kept saying, "Oh, when are you guys gonna get married?" And he had just gotten out of a long-term relationship he had 2 kids, and I think they were together for like 9 or 10 years, like a
Holy
long
shit.
relationship. And so we were dating like 6 months. His mom was like, "When are you guys getting married? When are you guys getting married?" Okay, so like it's a year later. His mom, and she's very like a pushy mom, right? So she buys a ring and he gives it to her. And so then he gives it to me. And I'm like, what is this? Where did you get this? You know, because he just kind of, he was like, well, here, like, you know, do you want to be engaged?
Do you
Like that.
want
I
to
was
be
like,
engaged?
yeah. I was like, where did you get this? What?
You're like,
What?
is this a proposal? Hello?
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, and then I looked at the ring a week before, his mom had showed me a ring. She's like, "Oh, look, I just bought this. It was on sale. Like, isn't it so cute? It fits my pinky, like all this
That's
stuff."
crazy.
And I was like, and so she had showed it to me, and so I remembered it. I was like, "Is this your mom's ring?" He's like, "No," and I'm like, "Yes, it is." And then so
You're
he's
like,
like, "Yeah." He's like, "My mom gave it to me to give to you," and I gave
you're
it
like,
back to him.
something ain't adding up here. 1 + 1 is 2. What's going on?
And I
That's
gave it
insane.
back to him, and I was like, "No." I was like, "This is
Mm.
not the way." I was like, "Absolutely not. Give this back to your mom. Tell her thank you." And then so
Thank
he was
you.
like, "Yeah, you're right." But he felt that pressure from her and kind of
Yeah.
caved and was like, "Okay." But and then we ended up getting and actually engaged like a year and a half after that. So we had been together like 2.5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, just constant all the time pushing him, pushing him. She was like, "You're getting older, like you guys just need to get married." And I don't know, but
What
I was
is
like,
that?
this is not happening.
Mm-mm.
I'm
And
very
the
I'm
fact that
very
I saw
outspoken.
it,
So if my mom
the,
ever tried to do that to me, I'd be like, "Go fuck yourself. That's not happening."
the
Like,
fact that
first
I
of all,
saw the
you
ring
shouldn't be telling your
before,
mom to go fuck herself.
I have that
no,
relationship with my
what?
mom. I have
Okay.
that like we joke around a lot like how I
Okay.
am with you guys, like I'm like my mom's literally like my best friend.
Okay.
So
Fair. But yeah, that's wild. You saw the ring. You're like, wait a second.
I know. I was like,
Wait a
this
damn
is
minute
your
here.
mom. Yeah, but
Um, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I think like you were saying, social media is also a big pressure nowadays too for people to
100%.
like rush things along in terms of
yeah,
like proposal, bachelor, and like the weddings now are like out of control.
yeah,
Like
that too.
it's like you got the bridal shower, you got the destination bachelorette, you got the huge wedding, you got like all the things.
Hmm.
And it's all on social media and it's like everyone sees each other's thing. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like how can we outdo everything? I feel like it's like almost a silent
It's
competition nowadays.
it's more about, I think, just all of that rather than is this the right partner for me? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, oh, I got to pick a dress and this and this and this and this. And it's kind of the actual meaning itself is kind of lost, I think, in that.
Bro, that's why the
Hmm.
fucking divorce rate's 50%. Everybody
Yeah, it's
fucking
wild.
like
Yeah.
everybody just tries to rush into shit and like like
Well,
know your partner,
I
bro.
I was supposed to be in 2 weddings in 1 year and both of them got called off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I won't go into details because I don't know if they're watching,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I'm glad that it was called off before they had to like go through with it
Yeah.
and get a divorce. You know what I mean? Like, but it's crazy
Wait,
the
so
whole
they're
marriage
still
thing.
together? They just called off the wedding, or
No,
they actually?
one of them are still together, and the other are separated, and they're like not together
Yeah.
anymore.
I mean,
Um,
that sucks, but it's better than a divorce.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, imagine like you get divorced or you get married, you have kids, and then you got a fucking divorce. Like fuck that. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I don't know, I hold such value on marriage, but like that being said, I feel like I would live unhappy for a long time. Like, I don't know.
I can't.
I just would really try to
I
work on
wouldn't.
it. Like I
It. I
just
I
think
would. Oh,
it's
there's a difference between putting
circumstantial,
in the
right?
work.
Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
something
there's
like
a difference.
that you can like work through, go to couples
Go
therapy
to
and try and
therapy.
work things
Yeah.
out together, like cool. But if it's like okay, I will never grasp a woman or a man staying in a relationship that's an emotionally abusive or physically abusive
yeah.
relationship. Bro, you're scared?
Yeah, that I could
Like
never.
I don't know, bro. For
But
me, I can't.
also, yeah, but also it's hard to say what you would do until you're in that
I'm
situation.
getting
You
the
know what I
fuck
mean?
out of there.
No, but like you don't know what you can't always do that.
What, unless
You can't
unless they're
always.
holding a fucking gun to my head every time I
Listen,
want to leave, there's
it's
no
also
chance.
kind of
I
it can be different for women
I
also
was
Yeah, of
just gonna
course.
versus
say that,
men.
yeah.
Which could we could transition to our next topic was the women's perspective of like the movie that you wanted us to watch.
Yeah.
Um,
I one more thing though. Did you hear the whole Zach Bryan and Brianna chicken fry situation?
what's her name?
Yeah.
Chicken fries?
Brianna, no, her name on TikTok is Brianna Chicken Fry. It's like
Oh, okay.
Brianna LaPaglia or something. but they were dating for a year and they broke up. Like he was like apparently emotionally abusive to her for an entire year. He offered her $12 million to sign an NDA to not disclose any of the things that went on in their fucking relationship, and she turned down the money and she exposed probably not even everything, but she's like she works with Dave Portnoy, so she's like she was on the BFFs podcast. She like told a bunch of stories, and he's like it's like wild. But
I
like she
think
was in it for a year.
you guys have a
I
different
told you guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys have a different perspective than me. So
Yeah, you were like, I'd take the money and shut
dude,
up.
are you kidding me? I'm taking $12 million.
I mean,
I'm signing that
would
NDA and then I'm
consider
going straight to
that.
therapy and then I'm fucking $12 million richer.
I couldn't. I would like to say that I couldn't, but like when you're faced with that,
$12 million
know.
is $12 million.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
every time you spend that, you're like thinking about this like emotionally
therapy to
abusive
deal with it.
person who gave it to you.
Go to therapy to deal with it.
No, I don't know if I could. Like, it depends on what kind of financial situation I was in when that
What do you
happened
mean?
and when that was offered to me.
It doesn't
I don't
matter
know.
if you're rich or not.
Yeah.
It's $12 million, bro, for free.
But she already does pretty well for herself. So like I don't think
It's
the money
even
was
better.
like a big I don't know. I'm actually like kudos to her for not
No,
taking it. And,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Kudos to her. Like, obviously, like, it's brave to come out and say whatever she needs.
and it's
like,
hard
whatever
to
she
get
said.
out of it. She said she was in it for a year. Like it's
I-
hard to just get out of it. You don't always know that you're in it when you're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like it's even worse for him now that she's come out and said, and also like, oh, and he offered me 12 million for the NDA. You know what I mean? Like that just makes
100%.
it 10 times worse.
Give me that 12 milli. That's a 12
Yeah.
schmilli. I'm going
But
to
yeah,
therapy.
but
I'll
back
derail
to
that.
like that, like what we can transition into like women's intuition almost. And I told them if you haven't seen the movie, guys, it's on Netflix. It's called Woman of the Hour. Anna Kendrick's in it. She directs it. It's about a serial killer, Rodney Kalhar or something. Is that what his last name is? I forget what I forget. But he was a serial killer, like what, in the 70s or something, and he went on a game show and like won the game show, and like they expected him to kill like 130. So whatever. It's a movie based on that.
So is
And I
it
told them
based
to
on a
watch
true
it.
story?
Yes.
Oh, that I
wait,
didn't know.
is it?
Yes.
I didn't know
This was
that.
no, this was a real serial killer. Like he really
Oh my
killed
gosh.
100. They expected 130 victims, men and women,
That's
in the
crazy.
70s.
And
he
what?
actually,
And children I saw.
yeah,
On there
and
too.
he actually went on a game show, on the dating show, and won the dating show.
Okay,
So like it was based.
maybe I'll give it another chance because I'm gonna be honest with you
Yeah.
guys. I'm gonna be honest
didn't
with you
watch
guys.
it.
I watched the first 40 minutes. Kelsey, it was so
I feel like
slow.
I feel like Amanda is gonna take your side on this, and I said this to you. Because
Honestly,
I
it
just
was
feel like
so
he's-
like for me, you need to like for the first like 40 if you don't have my attention after 35 minutes, I'm shutting it down. It didn't
No.
interest me. It didn't interest me. I understood the suspense like coming from a woman's perspective in terms of a lot of things that were transpiring within the first 40 minutes that I saw. And like even there was that interview that Anna Hendricks had, or is it Kendricks or Hendricks?
Hendrix.
Kendricks, yeah, my bad.
It's Kendrick. It's singular.
Oh.
Kendrick. So Anna Kendrick, that she had that interview and they asked her like if she did nudes, like nudity and all that stuff, and like that pressure from like the like and like the way they were like using that position of power like on her, and it was super weird. And like as a man, like I was uncomfortable. I can only imagine like how you guys like put yourself in that position. Like it was weird.
But like also like I just feel like as a serial killer movie, like it's like horror. It's supposed to like if a man was directing it, it would have been focused a lot more on like the gore of the killings and like that sort of thing. Whereas when I was watching it, I was more focused on like, okay, like it's this nice charming guy coming up to these girls and they don't know they're in danger until like all of a sudden they know they're in danger. And I feel like as a woman, I felt that. I don't know if Amanda, you felt that moment where like all of a sudden you just get this pit in your stomach. You're like, something's not right here. Like I need to get myself out of this potentially dangerous situation. And it's a bad feeling. And it's almost like a woman's intuition. Like I feel like every woman just knows like, okay, something just switched here. I don't know what it was. Everything was fine. And all of a sudden now I need to get out.
Yeah.
And like that's what the suspenseful, scary part was for me in that movie. That's why I was like so hooked on it.
So I'll be honest, I watched it all. I thought it was good, but when it was over, I was like, "Oh, it's over?" Like there
It was
wasn't that
quick. Yeah,
sort of
there
that
wasn't
the
kind of like a
heightened
yeah.
kind of thing, but I thought it was good. I liked it. I felt like I could definitely see how it is a horror-ish film. I wouldn't call it horror per se, more
I
like a
wouldn't.
Suspense and
thriller.
thriller.
Or suspense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thriller,
suspense. Yeah.
suspense. But I thought it was good. And honestly, too, it really just sheds light on how women were treated back then. You know,
100%.
when the
Yeah.
when he brought the woman to sit and wait for the producer, and he just
Oh
kind of just
yeah.
blew her off,
It was
or
it was a janitor and she was waiting in there like,
yeah.
like I'm
So
waiting for this person. She like knew that he was a serial killer. Like she knew
yeah,
that that guy on the dating show had killed her friend and
yeah,
like was gonna try and tell someone about it, and everyone was just brushing her off.
yeah,
That's
So
crazy.
like it's kind of crazy, and the one scene that really got me was the parking lot scene where she had like won the show and they went out for drinks, and
yeah.
as they were out for drinks, like something switched. She got that feeling, she got that
Hmm.
intuition, like I'm not safe here. And he like was walking her back to her car and was like, "Can you repeat the number that you wrote down on this piece of paper?" And she's like, "Oh, I'll just rewrite it." And he's like, "No, you can't say it from memory." And it just like sunk in my heart because I'm like, just
Yeah.
knowing that like they're the only ones in this parking lot,
Well,
like
and so here's my thing too, is like in that moment, like she should have just turned and ran to her car, right? But it's like she's like, oh, still kind of staying there. Like I've
right,
been in that moment, right? Where
me
it's like I
too.
feel like something was really bad, and me trying to just still act normal when I should
Yeah,
have just left.
because you
Like
don't
all
want to set them
niceties,
off.
exactly. But it's like everything should be out the window, and you should just do what you need to do. But like for some reason, I feel like as women, maybe we're just kind of like, okay, relax, play it cool,
Yeah,
or
there's like fight or flight, but there's also freeze. Like you're like in it and you're
yeah,
like, okay, like how do I get out of this without potentially making things worse?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
outside looking in, you're like, bitch, just run to your car. Like, what do you mean? Like, get
Right.
away.
And then it's like the same kind of goes with like the teenager who like helped catch him. Remember when
Yeah.
she was just playing it cool and stuff
Hmm.
like that, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like
I
you
mean, that's
just
how she survived. Like, she
exactly, yeah.
asked him to keep it a secret long enough for where she could get help. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane. Like, but I just thought it was very interesting to kind of go with like especially since a woman directed, like Anna Kendrick directed the whole movie, but I just feel like serial killer movies are always like gory or like, that
Hmm.
like scary horror, like gruesome type of thing. And this was sort of a different take on it while it's still being based on an actual
Yeah.
serial killer.
So
But
you guys think women's intuition is a thing
100%.
in terms of
I
like
think
in terms of what? Like in terms of
In terms of just knowing a bunch. I mean, you could say it in terms of being in danger, or you could take it in terms of like I know like something's off with my significant
hmm
other. Like I think he's cheating, or like I just feel like women
so
sometimes just know.
I feel like maybe men sometimes too. Like this is just
Yeah,
my take on it.
it
You know
is a
what I mean?
thing. It is a little bit of a thing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
and they even have like they call it like mother's intuition, right? Because
mm,
that's a real thing, like literally based on
100%.
science. So that's why I fully believe like just in general, like if we're in a situation and you just know it's off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like something is wrong here.
See, for me, I feel like it's
100%.
it's a little bit of a gray area for me. I feel like
But you hear all these stories about Amanda was saying mom's intuition. Like there will
yeah,
be all these stories of like all of a sudden the mom's like something's wrong, like texts or calls their child and says like get out of there, get out of
yeah,
wherever
that's
you are,
crazy.
like, and like something bad ends up happening there, and it's like how would they know that? Like it's just
Yeah.
that feeling, or like something bad is happening, they get the call that their child was in an accident, you know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
it's weird. I
For
don't
me,
know.
like the woman's intuition, I do think that is a thing, but I do think a part of it in some instances, and I'm gonna get flamed. I feel like it's a little bit of insecurity thing too. Um,
In terms of like
in terms
cheating
of like
things.
cheating wise, like, and this goes back to one of my like I don't remember if we've spoken about it on the podcast or if we just spoke about it like jokingly together on like FaceTime or whatever. going through like a partner's phone, right? Like, let's say you have woman's intuition that they're up to no good, and then you don't find anything. Like, is that woman's intuition, or is that
Well,
just
so
fucking
here's
insecurity?
I think the term women's intuition is very widely used, right? If not
Yeah.
even thrown around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like um sometimes, yes, I would agree with you, Phil. Like it's more so their insecurity because also when you're insecure, you sweat, you have anxiety, your heart starts racing. They could think this is my intuition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Just kind of like, you know, confuse
Yeah,
something
I
with
think
intuition.
I
But
think it can be confused with like you said, insecurity or like even past trauma or like things that are like triggering you sort of and you're like, wait a or like paranoia or like
yeah.
whatever. But intuition I feel like is specific. I do think it's overused and I think it's definitely I think it's real in specific situations and I think it's definitely like a distinct feeling. Like I've
Mhm.
never really used like my bad feeling or bad vibes about someone cheating as like intuition, really. And my woman's intuition is mostly related to like being in danger or like being in an
Mhm.
or being around someone that I think is not a good person, like
Yeah.
that might hurt me. You know that like that's kind of my intuition and how I
Okay.
use it.
So one time when I was
At band camp.
seven when I was 17, I was walking home
Mm-hmm.
and I had a long walk ahead of me. It was like a, I don't know, 2 hour walk. I was like 45 minutes in. This van stops. It's an older guy. He has a cross hanging from the rearview mirror. He's like, "Hey, do you want to ride? Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going home." Like, "Do you want to ride?" I'm like, "No, it's okay." He's like, "No, no, I'm going that way." The kind of persistent. I was like, "Okay." So I get in. We're driving
Why?
probably for maybe 15
Like,
minutes.
hello?
Amanda, you
So we're
good?
Getting in the car is absolutely crazy.
I
Can we
know.
actually rewind a second? You got in the van.
I
You got
did. I
in the
did.
Congrats
van.
for
Okay.
still being alive. But
It
yeah,
was like a
continue.
minivan. It was like a minivan.
A white minivan. Yeah.
Um, no, not like a. It had
That's
windows, like
crazy.
a legit minivan. Anyways, so we're driving, and like 15 minutes in, he was kind of trying to make small talk, like, "Oh, do you go to school? Where do you like?" Looking back after this happened, I realized he was obviously trying to get more information from me, but with just small talk. Um, where your friends live? Where are you coming from? Oh, you go there a lot, just stuff like that. Well, it was like 10 or 15 minutes in. And I was like, "Oh, okay, right up here." He was like, "Oh, I thought you said, this town." I was like, "No, no, here's good." It's like, "No, I'll take you." Kind of trying to keep me in the car. I just got out of the car and ran. You know what I mean? And I just
Yeah.
felt there was something so wrong, like something bad was going to happen. And I just opened the door and ran down the street. And I went to the porch of someone's house and just knocked on the door. And then he drove away. And I don't know whose house it was, whatever. I just wanted to get away.
So
And I feel
Amanda's
like,
Amanda's woman's intuition is a little bit delayed
Yeah. Like
because when they asked
the
you to get in
second
the
a
car,
van
that should have gone
came
off.
so
that's
listen,
when
I
the
mean,
woman intuition.
I think I was like 16 or 17. I was very tired. I was like out all night the night before. My parents were like, "You better get home now or you're grounded." And so I was like walking after no sleep. I don't know. Yes, it was a very bad decision. You should never get into a car with someone you don't know. But I just clearly wasn't thinking.
Clearly.
However, something was off and I got out of there. But
I've even had situations like where I'm like out and or like in college I'd be like at a frat party or something and there was always I mean I even got roofied or I don't know if roofied but like I got drugged a couple of times when I was in college and one time specifically but a couple questionable times but I like there was always a vibe I got like we'd be like sitting and like we'd be like oh come on like we're gonna go hang out with my friend like in a different part of the frat house or whatever and you'd be sitting there and all of a sudden like I would just be like something's off here like I would be like so like I don't feel right I'm gonna go like home I don't so I'm getting bad vibes and like that was I always said like my intuition and a couple of times like we had heard like bad things that happened with those same people that we were with that
yeah.
night. You know what I mean? Like it's just like I don't know, it's just a pit in your stomach. Like I get a really bad like feeling overall and I'm like, I got to get out.
Yeah, I definitely. I think
Not
that's the
today,
thing.
Satan.
I think that's the thing because I get similar things like that to when it comes to people. Like I get bad if I get a bad vibe, like I call it like my evil
Me
eye.
too.
Like it goes off and it's like, yeah, this is not a good person. And like I've been right. I'd say like 4 to 5 times.
I feel like
Pretty
I'm
good.
always right.
80%. No, I'm probably might be 5 for 5, but like just 4 for 5 just to be modest. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, dude, if I was a woman, any dude looks at me, I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm like,
Well,
don't
that's what it feels
fucking
like
look. Don't look at me.
sometimes.
Don't look at me. Like if a guy offers to buy me a drink, nope, you're gonna try and fucking drug me. No chance. I'll buy my own drinks. No, thank you.
Well,
I
I'm like,
feel like
I'm like, buy me the drink, but I'm taking it from the bartender, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, give me the free drink,
But here's the
you're not
thing.
handing
Like
it to me.
here's the thing. If I don't know, man. Like there's if I'd automatically think, okay, maybe the bartender's in on it. If a guy offers
I
me a
guess,
drink,
yeah,
it's
but
just
that's
weird. Like I don't know. I've seen Criminal Minds way too many times. I've seen way too many fucking shows and
same,
movies to like
same.
trust men, and that's coming
I
from a
feel like
fucking
I'm
dude.
too trusting. Is my problem.
We
I
know.
feel like I'm too
Yes.
You
trusting.
literally just
Like,
got in a fucking car,
Evidence
bro.
by getting in the fucking
No,
van.
okay.
with a
First of all,
stranger.
to my
Defense.
I don't know, defense is what swayed me was he had a cross hanging in the car, and so I was like, oh, okay, like he's trustworthy. And now, like looking back, he probably fucking put it there on purpose to make people think he was trustworthy.
Yeah.
So you felt, yeah, but like in that situation, like I was saying before, you felt that moment where it switched
Yeah.
and you were like, okay, something's not right here. Like
Yeah.
I'm in danger.
Yeah.
So, but like, yeah, it's hard to be trusting of men. It's as a woman, it really is, especially men you don't know.
100%.
Even men you do. I mean, men you do know. I've been in
Yeah.
situations where I trusted a guy and things didn't turn out so well. So like, it's like.
Yeah.
It's really hard to go through life and like find out who you can trust and who you can't, especially as one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we can't even fucking. What if I wanted to go for a nighttime stroll? I can't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just dangerous. Like, I can't walk at night.
Yeah.
I can't walk after dark by myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
Like-
there was a girl that I was talking to, and she would go out for like walks, like at night, and I was like, dude, are you insane? Like, there's
Yeah,
literal serial killers that can kidnap you, and like she was
Yeah.
completely fine with it. I'm like, dude, what? I'm like, I'm like, I don't know how, like, and if I'm a dad, once I become a dad eventually, like, dude, I'm gonna be freaking the fuck out every time my kid's out. I'm gonna be like, my
Are
kid.
you gonna be? So here's the thing: are you gonna be a strict parent or not?
I don't think I'll be a strict parent, but I'll probably shit myself every time they go out, like
Okay.
every time.
Because coming from someone who had strict parents, like I think we talked about, when did we talk? We talked about this when we were in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had very strict. I'm an only child, so I had and I'm a girl. I had very strict parents. And up until I was 18, my curfew was 10 p.m. You need to be home and in this house. Like, and all my friends were staying out until after midnight. Like, I was like, this is so unfair. But like, I found ways around it. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and I just ended up with me. Sorry, mom and dad, if you're listening, lying to my parents a lot. Like, I'd be like, I'm going over with the softball girls and sleeping over Catherine's. I'd be in some random trap house, like partying with the Four Loco. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't, like, it's
Yeah.
bad. Like, you just, I don't know. I
feel
just feel
like I want to be a lenient parent, but I also want to have that relationship with my kids to where
yeah.
teach them right from wrong.
Yeah.
And also too, I don't want them ever to be scared to call me. Like, I don't care if it's 2 a.m. and you're in trouble. I don't care what you're doing, where you're at, call me. And I want them to know they'll be safe and I'll take care of it, instead of trying to be too scared to call me and figure it out on their own and stuff like that.
So my parents and I had a standing rule. If you ever need to get into the car with someone who had been drinking, I don't care where you are, I don't care what time of night is, you call me, I pick you up, no questions asked. So I knew my parents, if I ever really needed my parents, I could call them and they would come and get me.
Yeah.
Luckily, I never had to do that, but I also had the kind of parents that were a little bit strict. like I didn't. That was a last resort. Like, I'm like, could someone else call their parents and pick us up? 'Cause like, I'm gonna be in trouble.
I mean, I would just hop in a car with a stranger,
We know.
random old man.
We
Literally,
literally
yeah.
know.
Clearly.
My parents weren't that strict, but they might have been, but like I just bent the rules all the time. But I do remember there was one specific time that I was out just like on the street, and I didn't know like my mom was looking for me. This is like back in the day, like when nobody really had cell phones.
Yeah,
or
no one
anything.
had cell phones.
And it was like a fucking Friday, so I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna stay out a little bit longer." And then we're hanging out in my friend's backyard, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Philip, Philip," and I'm like, "Is that my fucking mom?" And then I think we were drinking at the time, and I just called out, "Yeah."
You're like,
she's like,
yep, that's me.
"Where are you?" And I'm like,
Wait, you guys are yelling?
"Yeah." Like,
Like-
I think she was
from the from front yard to backyard.
No, so she was at like the park, and I just heard her like screaming because the park wasn't too far. And
Jesus.
I was
With
just
a
like,
megaphone?
dude, honestly, it was crazy. So when I went outside, like to the front yard, and I see my mom, my godmother, my godfather, my dad.
He had a whole
I had
ass
like a
search
whole
party out
search
for
party.
you.
They thought I fucking got kidnapped.
Oh my
And
god.
I just looked at my mom, and like my mom was never like the one to discipline. And I looked at my mom, and she looked pissed, and I was like, fuck. So I like she didn't even like she was like, go home. I was like, okay. So I went home. I went to go shower to kind of like sober up a little bit. Bro, she barges in the washroom and goes, "Hey." Rips the curtain off, like not off, but like rips it to the side. Looks at me, "Never do that ever again." Bro, she fucking wound up and smacked me in the face. And like my parents never really hit me. And I was just like, "Bro, like you hit me." And like till this day, like I was like, "Yo, I'm never doing that shit again." Like I'm telling my mom everything.
I feel like I'm gonna get canceled for this. I feel like spankings need to come back as children. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm in favor
I
of it.
agree.
I mean, I'm not gonna like beat the shit out of my kid.
Like, not
not like fucking
crazy,
put them through a table or like bullshit
but
like
I'm
that.
telling you, as a child, every now and then I get a whack on the ass,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, okay, I'm not fucking doing that again.
Yeah.
And it took to a point where my parents just had to look at me, and I'd be like, oh, no, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it. I'm good. I'm good. And I feel like, I don't know, nowadays kids get away with too much.
Yeah,
Too
this
much.
Generation
Yeah, I agree
soft
with
as
spanking.
fuck.
Like,
I'm gonna
come
say
on, guys.
they're soft as fuck. They're so
Yeah,
soft.
like, you know.
But I don't want to talk too much about that because we'll probably
No.
get fucking canceled.
Yeah, we'll get canceled. No, listen,
Truly
there's a
podcast,
fine
the
line.
abusive parents.
there is a fine line, of course, but I don't know. I could never be a gentle parenting person. Like, sweetie, why don't we come back and talk about our feelings?
Wait, that's
And
me.
the kid's throwing
No,
like,
but like that's not bad. But if the kid's throwing a fucking hissy fit, bro,
Yeah.
if you're throwing a hissy
Yeah.
fit, yo, come the fuck here, bro. Who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm a mix. I feel like I have spanked my children before when, but not so much now. But also too, like if like my son he's 6, he will fall to the ground, cry, kind of like roll on the ground, and I'll just leave him alone. I'll say, okay, come talk to me when you're done.
Yeah, when you're ready. Like,
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different.
But I
Yeah.
don't know, because I feel like his dad and also Joel, maybe it's just a man's perspective. They're like, no, get up and, don't act like this. You're 6 years old, But
Yeah.
I'm like, well, he's upset. He's processing his emotions. And he's like, no, like, snap
Get
out
the
of
fuck up, bud.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
No,
see.
I don't know.
There's
needs to
both
be a
sides. There's
balance, of
both sides.
course.
Yeah.
There needs to be a balance to it, of definitely.
And that's like
especially because
the-
it's such a sensitive age.
Yeah, you're also like the
You're
gentle,
figuring out life, like-
nurturing. You're the nurturing one, right? So like you let him feel his emotions and whatnot, and
Yeah.
then like if it's around dad or Joel, whatever, like he can't do that because he knows, dad's not having it.
It's not gonna
fucking
fly,
having it.
yeah.
Like I got to get the fuck up and buckle down here and man the fuck up. Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
But also too, though, so like they know too, like I will spank them. You know, like, what did Junior do? I can't even remember what it was. I think he punched Alina or something. And I'm like,
You're
you
like,
don't hit her.
absolutely
I'm like,
not.
well, so I have a rule with my children that if the only time it's okay to hit someone is if they hit you back. Like,
Hit you
that's my
first. Hit you
one
first.
rule.
Hit you
Hit you
first. Hit you
Right. Oh,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they,
Junior's running around just punching everybody. Hit me back, motherfucker. It'll be okay.
no. Yeah. If they hit you first, then yes, you are allowed to hit them back.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, I don't want to go too far. They're children,
Yeah.
whatever. But, you know, I feel like that is a reasonable thing. But, you know, he like just punched her one day and I was like, no. And then he's like, I hit you to me. So I was like, okay. Whap, smacked his butt.
Whap, whap, whap,
Okay.
whap, whap.
And, you know,
Let me
and then
fuck him
he
up.
sat in his bed. He cried for a little bit and that was it. He apologized to me and his sister. And he has never punched her again.
That's what I mean. So like,
I don't know.
in terms of that, like a little spanking once, and then he's straight. He's like, okay, my mom, and that's the thing. Like, that's why it's good. Like the way that I feel like you're raising them is like, you don't hit them, right? But when it gets extreme, that's when you bring it out, and that's when they're like they're at that age where they can process, be like, shit, mom went to the extent to hit me. I really fucked up here. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why like it's a good balance that it seems like you have with them, which is amazing.
Yeah. Parenting's hard, man.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can
I don't
be
know
dad,
how you,
dude.
I don't know
Like
how you
if
do
my
it.
if my kid gets bullied,
Oh, that's a whole nother thing. Like,
dude,
Oh my gosh.
I promise
Listen,
you,
my
you.
daughter has been bullied.
No, I promise you, if I find out my child is getting bullied, I am going to that
I'm
house
squaring
or
up.
I'm going to the school. And I'm like, listen here, you little fuck.
You little fuck.
That's not happening no more.
You think that until you're a parent. So look, like I've had Alina come home crying from school and she said
I'm
all
fighting.
the girls were making fun of her on the playground and no one played with her. They kept running away, you know? And so I contacted the teacher and let her know, like, you know, whatever was happening. And no, just I wanted to get a feel for the atmosphere of the classroom.
She's not a snitch.
Bro,
And
but
so-
then,
That's not a snitch.
but if the kids find out that she snitched,
Well, so and then I told
no,
Alina,
they need to be reprimanded for it. Bullies have been running around and with no consequences.
I know I was a bully. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god!
Listen, I believe it. You're still a bully.
Wait, you know what's hilarious?
Hold on, let Amanda finish. Let Amanda finish her
sorry,
point. Let
sorry,
Amanda
sorry.
finish her point because we do.
No,
we're
no
bad
point.
boys.
It's just that you think that you would do that, right, as a parent, but when it actually happens, it's like you feel heartbroken. You don't know what to do, you know, and like, and so I was like, you know, you're very special. You're amazing. If they don't want to be your friend, go up to someone else and make new friends. You know, just don't even try. Well, of course, they were in like, you know, 3rd grade, so they were best friends the next day. But
Yeah.
you know, it's like you think you would say you would go to that school and tell us, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I think Phil sent us like a picture of his like middle school yearbook once. I'm like, Phil, you literally look like my middle school bully.
No, I was a
And
a
you're like,
bully.
actually, I was a bully.
No,
like,
honestly, okay. So
you
looking back,
literally look like you look like the kid that bullied me all throughout middle school. And
okay.
high school.
So here's the thing. I was very
I was
insecure.
triggered. I had like PTSD.
I was very insecure about myself. So I like that insecurity like obviously went onto other people. But there's two kids that I vividly remember, and I'm like, dude, like I was such a piece of shit. Like there was one girl, like, okay, don't judge me. Okay, I was young.
Girl.
Yeah, so there was one girl.
Did you have a crush on her?
No, I didn't. I dead ass didn't. So you know when like the girls go through puberty and all that stuff, so she started getting armpit hair. Okay. So I would like during recess I would talk about her armpit hair and like she would wear. Okay, first of all, this is also on parenting. Like, don't make your kid wear fucking cutoffs when they're going through puberty. Yeah, like tank tops and shit, and like going through puberty and like growing hair. Because like I would literally go, like there would be everybody around us, and I'd be like, I'm not gonna say their name, but like, oh my god, yeah, give me high five, and like, yeah, bro, I was terrible. I was terrible.
Phil.
You little fuck.
No, I was so bad, and like looking
That's
back on it, I
awful.
was so bad. And I remember her mom came to the school, talked to me, and there was rumors that her mom was like a witch or some weird shit. But like I was such a shit. Like I was
Plot
such.
twist. That's where your curse came from.
Yeah, probably. Oh man, no, but honest. Okay, this is how much of a shit. Like I thought I was the shit. Um, she came to the school and talked to me and like tried to like tell me to stop and like whatnot. And like she was rambling and I was just like, anyways, and I walked away from her.
You little fucking shit.
Dude,
my
I was
Oh my
gosh.
god.
I was so bad. And if I tell my mom and dad this, they won't believe me. Like they won't believe me. My mom and dad thought I was a fucking angel. I think when I was like 29, I was like having a conversation at like a family gathering, and like I was talking to my cousins or like friends or whatever, and I was like, dude, I remember when I was like 16, I would come home absolutely fucking ripped or like so drunk, and my mom was walking by and she's like, what? She's like, when? And I'm like, Mom, almost every weekend I'd come home at least drunk or high. And she's like,
Oh my
I
gosh.
never knew that. And even my godmother was like, what? Like they were like distraught. They were like,
Oh
what the
my
fuck? How
gosh.
did you get away with it for so like I never got caught. That's one thing. I never got caught with drugs. I never got caught
I
with
never got
alcohol.
caught.
Nothing. And like my parents never like realized I was drunk, realized I was high.
Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda.
No, I never got caught either. I never got caught. My
I
parents
got
were like,
caught all
oh.
the time.
I went to
all
college
the
and my parents
time.
were like, I was like posting pictures my first week of college with like, hey, red Solo cup. My dad was like, that wasn't your first time drinking, was it? I was like, no.
Dad, come sit.
Literally, I
Yeah.
got caught all the time. One time I was skipping school with my friend and we were out. It was a Friday. But here's the thing, my mom was very lenient. She was more of my friend and not like the mother. And my dad was the disciplinary. And so it's like my mom let me basically do whatever I wanted. My dad tried to implement rules, which caused major problems. So anyway, I was skipping school one day with my friend and we're out just sitting. We got back from the convenience store. We had like, I don't know, sodas or candy or something. And I was a freshman in high school. My mom is driving by and I was like, oh, that was my mom. I don't think she saw me. Well, here she circles back and pulls up. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, it's 11 a.m. Why aren't you in school? And I'm like, Mom, it's just been a really tough week. I had a lot of tests. Like, I just needed a break. And she was like, you better be home at 3 so your dad doesn't find out, and drove off. Like, it was like, I don't know. The balance was crazy. And then it's like, me and my dad fought a lot because I would sneak out. He would catch me. I would get grounded. Like, I just didn't like the rules. And with my mom, I had no rules. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
That's actually something I think we should wrap it up, but that's something I want to touch on like next episode. Like your dynamic with your parents and like how do you think it affected you growing, like who you are today.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we could definitely talk about that. I have a lot of stories.
Yeah, I
As
definitely
you
have
guys
some.
saw in the Boston Tea Party.
Dude, you're
Some of our dynamic.
I'm still gonna say it, your dad. I didn't really talk too much to your mom. Your mom's
No, she
super
was-
sweet.
She was like in her own world. She was like worried about my dad the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
First of all, the
That was
text
lit.
that she sent you after was
yeah. So
so funny. Like, oh my gosh.
where were we when you sent? Oh, we got back to the B&B,
Yeah, we were all sitting
Yeah.
there.
and you were like, "Oh my god, look at this fucking message I just got from my mom."
Yeah.
A long text
Because
from my
dude,
mom
we
being
got
like,
we got your dad
"Oh."
lit as fuck.
Yeah.
And you know what? He told me he didn't eat a single thing when he was there.
Yeah.
Not a single morsel of food.
Do you want
I'm
to
like,
tell
"Dad, there
everybody
was a whole
what the
buffet."
message was?
My mom, honestly, I could fucking read it.
I
He's
fucking
gonna kill
remember
me
it.
if he ever sees that.
It's a
She
legendary
said-
fucking message.
I know.
It was so we can like wrap it up after this. This is at 12:06 in the morning. She said, "We are home. ... Little bit of drama getting a ride home. Dad was pretty drunk! Exclamation point. Couldn't get an Uber, so we took a ride from some random guy outside the Marriott. I protested but lost the argument. LOL. We got home fine. $168 later. I thought
Yo,
your father was gonna throw up in the limo. It was like a limo they got.
that's crazy.
She said the driver gave him a water bottle. He made it home. LOL. Your party was amazing in every way. Bravo. Love all your peoples. And then that was it. But I'm like, seriously?
That's hilarious. I love.
I'm like,
I
thought
love
I was
it.
supposed to be the one to be like the drunkest on my 30th. No, my dad.
I mean, it's fitting.
Yeah. But
Yeah, so I think next episode we'll touch on our parents if you guys want, or we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving forward, we're going to be recording every Tuesday. Podcasts will likely be released Wednesday, Thursday, depends how I'm feeling. We're gonna try and be a little bit more consistent in terms of like recording on specific days. Like this is
and uploading
on specific days, just to get that consistency, because we'll record like Sundays, we'll record fucking Tuesday, Wednesday. So
yeah. Make sure to subscribe and like and share and follow.
So follow us on YouTube,
all
TikTok.
the usernames below.
Yeah. It's I don't know why I'm gonna plug it when it's
I don't
literally
know.
on the video.
Like, it's literally right here.
It's on the video. If you're not watching the video, because obviously on YouTube or Apple, because I mean I don't even think Apple does video. I don't know if you guys have checked, but Spotify does video, so I upload the video.
Spotify does video, yeah.
But if you're not watching video and you're just listening on your car ride to work or home, whatever, it's Truly Chaotic Podcast on YouTube, TikTok, and Spotify. And then on Instagram, because it was like taken, right?
It was taken, which was so weird.
Which is crazy.
But,
I'll have my people contact them.
Okay,
it's
perfect.
Truly_chaotic_podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
We upload
and
some funny clips and everything, and share the links and everything on there. So make sure you follow us on there.
You little bitch.
You little fucks.
You little fucks. See you later.
You little fucks.
Bye.
Bye.